Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. This video is going to be all about luxury makeup that I think is worth the money. Luxury makeup is of course something that I definitely think about twice, sometimes more than twice before buying, because I just don't really find a lot of luxury makeup worth the money in the end. So these are definitely some like more curated items here that I feel are worth the money, and that if you are looking to buy some luxury makeup, then these are a good place to start perhaps. So yeah, when it comes to luxury makeup, what I think is luxury makeup is anything like brands that have sort of like a price range of like 40 euros and up. To me, brands like Too Faced, MAC, Urban Decay, those would be high end because everything that they do is somewhere between the 20 and the 40 euro range, unless it's like an eyeshadow palette or something like that. But like a foundation for like 50 euros and those kind of things. So for me, luxury makeup is definitely that higher tier of the beauty market. And yeah, I was asked whether I could do a video about the luxury makeup products that I think are worth it. So yeah, let's just get to it straight away. So some products that you won't find in this video are brows. I've never tried any brow products from the luxury market, like luxury brands. I've also never, I used to use luxury mascaras, but I've completely switched over to drugstore. Maybelline and L'Oreal make my favorites. And I also don't have a luxury primer that I've ever tried. I have one by Becca, but I haven't tried it enough to really know whether it is worth the money. So that's why I'm not including it here. I'm only including products that I feel I've tried enough and that I can really recommend to you. Let's just start with my favorite luxury product, and that's these shiny numbers. These are the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Revolution lipsticks. She also has a cream formula, which a lot of people love too, but I'm such a fan of this matte formula. This matte formula is one that is very smooth to apply. It settles down without drying out your lips, yet it looks matte and it stays on all day long. I'm not sure what's in these little tubes, but I think these are very much worth it. These retail for about like 38 euros a pop. I treat myself to 1 or 2 of these a year, perhaps. And that's how I'm like slowly growing my Charlotte Tilbury lipstick collection. I have 5 of them currently, and I really wanted to try and put some of these products on my face, but I currently have a cold sore, so lipstick is out of the question, because then I would just have to be buying all new lipsticks, and that's something I'm not going to be doing. But the 5 shades I have are Bond Girl. This is like a brownie nude. It's a bit darker. It's a bit too dark for a nude for most people, I think, but on me, this is a nice everyday shade. I also have Pillow Talk, which is, I think, one of her most famous colors. I have the lip liner of this as well. It now comes in an eyeshadow palette, it comes in a blush, but the lipstick is one of the best nudes ever. Sexy Sienna. I am not a big fan of peachy toned lipsticks, but this has something special to me. This is a really, really nice lipstick for the springtime, I find. That's when I use this as like an everyday shade. I also have a darker shade. This is Love Liberty, and it's a really nice berry. And then my favorite Charlotte Tilbury lipstick has to be this red. This is Red Carpet Red. It looks quite dark in the tube, but when you put it on, it's like the true classic red. If you get any one of these and you like reds and you're looking for a good classic red, then Red Carpet Red I would highly recommend. Let's continue with our base, and one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is because of this foundation. This is the YSL All Hours foundation, and this is one of my more recent foundation purchases. I don't really have a lot of like super high-end foundations either. I've tried 1 or 2 by Dior, but this one, I had a gift voucher. I had a 30% off thing, and I was like, why not put it to a luxury foundation for a change? And I had heard great things about this. I have this in the shade BR20, which I believe is Cool Ivory, and the shade match is pretty much spot on. And what I love about this foundation, because when I first showed this in my favorite face makeup video a couple of weeks ago, I hadn't put this on my face all that much yet, but I've been wearing this all week in the run up to Christmas. I've been wearing this to work. I've been wearing this to dance class. I've been wearing this to office parties. I've been wearing this pretty much almost 24 hours in a row at a certain point. So I know also that this definitely is all hours. I can put this through a complete dance party where I'm sweating profusely, and even though the rest of my makeup melts off my face, this stays put. And it looks like skin. It doesn't look cakey. It's got good coverage. It's like a medium but buildable to full, I'd say. It just smooths your skin. It looks like skin. So far, this is one of the best foundations I've tried, but it's incredibly expensive. It's like 53 or 55 euros. That's pricey, but I don't have any other foundations in my collection that stay put for that long without looking cakey and still looking like skin. Because most of the time, if you have long wear foundations, they are pretty matte and they can look very drying on your skin if you wear them for a couple of hours, especially if you have dry skin like me. But for me, this is a really, really, really marvelously great product. So I'm in love with this. I was thinking of what concealers I could feature, and I haven't tried many by luxury brands, but in the concealer category for me, Correctors would go, and one cult favorite, and also one of my favorites, is the Bobbi Brown Corrector. I'm not a huge fan of Bobbi Brown products. Out of all the products I tried, this has to be my favorite. This has, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it has major pan. This is nearly gone. I have this in the shade Light Bisque, and especially in the winter time when I get very pale, and because I have deep set eyes, you can really see the dark circles like shining through almost everything. So that's why I do like to use a corrector underneath some of my more lightweight concealers to make them conceal a little bit better. So I first color correct and then I conceal, but mainly in the winter time. In the summertime, I don't need it as much. But then for concealer, like I said, I haven't tried too many bougie concealers, but I think that a brand that is pretty pricey for how much product you get would be NARS. To me, NARS is still like sort of like on the brink, like somewhere on the verge between high-end and luxury. So some of their products I'm like, yeah, I can get down with that price, but some of their products are also very expensive. Case in point, this concealer. It only comes with 6.2 grams of product, which, you know, for a concealer, it's okay, but in a pot. And I have used this so much though. This is the soft matte creamy concealer, and I have this in the lightest shade, Chantilly, and it's, oh man, I have such a big dent in this already. I do feel that this is a little bit of a drying concealer, so that has to be your cup of tea. If you want something a bit more nourishing, then their Radiant Creamy Concealer is really nice too. Used up a tube of that before. But this is really nice because it means I don't have to use the corrector as well, because this is just a lot more potent. Because I can just like stipple this on with a brush and then I like to dab it in with my fingers. I do feel that this performs better with the heat of your fingers. On my face, I can dab it in with a sponge and it's fine. But under my eyes, I really like pressing it in. And it's such a nice concealer. I literally fell a little bit in love with this when I started first using this more profusely in the fall time. But this is a really nice concealer. Finishing off our base, and I think one of the most expensive brands that I have quite a few products from is Hourglass. I think that in terms of base products, especially their powder, like base products, their powders, their blushes, their highlighters, their bronzers, they are excellent. But I think that in their, like their face powders is definitely what really got them known. This is in the shade Radiant Light, which is too dark for me, but I used to use this as a bronzer, and I still really like it. It's a very nice glowy finishing powder. If you have a darker skin tone, then this can be a nice one. But because I like this so much, and I now have an actual bronzer by Hourglass that I also really like, I actually wanted to try it as a face powder for myself. So I bought Diffuse Light, which is like a very pale yellow shade. And I'm not sure, but you can see a little bit of the shine this has. And I think I can start using this when my NYX banana powder is gone. Then I want to switch to this. And I'm going to see how long this lasts, because you do get a good amount of product in here. This is 10 grams. So for a face powder, that's actually quite nice. These are expensive, but to me, Hourglass powders have all been worth the money. So let's just stick to Hourglass for a minute, because in terms of blush, I realized that I don't have any blush that I would truly be able to recommend to anybody that falls into the luxury category, except for my Hourglass ones. Everything I have is like high-end or drugstore, but luxury. I once bought one by Dior, but it has a very pretty pattern, so I never use it because I don't want to ruin it. And the same goes for my limited edition Chanel one. So while they probably make very good blushes, I just never really use them enough to really say like, yep, that's definitely worth your money. These, however, these are the Ambient Lighting blushes by Hourglass. This is in the shade Diffused Heat. This is one of my favorite shades in the summertime. It really has this like nice, like almost sunburned look, but in the winter, this can also really make you look like you just came in like fresh from the cold, sort of like a very nice natural flush. And that's that one. And I also really like Mood Exposure. This is like the perfect mauve blush. If you're still looking for a mauve blush, then this is one to definitely check out because these are amazing. I also wanted to recommend a bronzer to you, and as with blush, I haven't really tried many super bougie bronzers, and so I was like, what should I feature? Should I also feature the Hourglass? But I was like, no, because I have a bronzer that is as expensive as the Hourglass one, but it gives you less product. Because the Hourglass bronzer, I think that I have is like also 10 or 11 grams, and this Becca Sunlit bronzer only contains 7.3. This is in Bali Sands, yes. And this is a really nice bronzer actually, but you don't get a whole lot of products. So for the price point and the amount of product you get, I do think that if I were to ever start a pan, like a project pan kind of thing, that if I were to feature this bronzer, I would be able to use it up because it just doesn't have a whole lot of product in here. But for pale people, this is a really nice shade. So I'm very often stuck with high-end bronzers because they just don't make my shade in a lot of the drugstore ranges. In the drugstore, everything can be a little bit dark or muddy or very orange. Of course, there are a couple that I really like. I have like 3 or 4 from the drugstore that are like my holy grail drugstore bronzers. But in terms of like super luxury, this is the only one that I would be able to feature here because it is quite expensive for how much product you get in here. In terms of bougie highlight, Becca, of course, is again very bougie, but I think you get quite a bit of product in those. And there is actually one brand that I have quite a few of that is a lot more expensive than a Becca highlight. Like Becca has expensive highlighters. They're like 38 euros a pop, but these Dior ones, they're 55 euros a pop. This is 150 euros worth of highlight. And there's only one of these that I use enough to really warrant that. But they do really make very pretty highlighters. The Dior ones do definitely do something a little bit differently, I find. And yeah, they are definitely, you don't need 3. If you want to splurge, treat yourself kind of moment, maybe you have a gift voucher that you got over Christmas and you want to get yourself a luxury highlighter, I would go with the Dior one. They now do these, they usually have one every single limited edition collection that they do, but they also have a couple now in their permanent line, so you can always get these. The ones I have, I believe, were all limited edition. So the first one I have here is the Nude Skin Nude Air Luminizer in 001. And this is the only one that I really truly use, mostly in the summertime, because this is a little bit too dark for me in the wintertime. It has a lot of like back pigment to it. So in the summertime, I use this a ton. One that I splurge on that was limited edition is this one. This is very gold. This is from the Transat Nude Tan edition. This was limited edition, I think, for spring like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't use this all that much because really this is way too dark for my complexion. But I thought at the time that I could make it work, but it has this really nice rope pattern and I just don't want to ruin that. So I don't use this as much as I should, but it's very pretty. And the other one I have is from the Glowing Gardens collection. Right? Yeah, Glowing Gardens. And as you can see, this has a floral pattern to it. Very pretty, very nice flash. But again, I'm afraid to ruin this any further and I don't want the pattern to wear off. So I haven't used this as much as I should. Then we have one more category left, and that is eyes. And I'm pretty sure you're now expecting me to feature Viseart or Natasha Denona or any of those brands like with like super expensive eyeshadow, but I'm actually not, because I think that like Viseart is like $80 for 12 pans, and Natasha Denona is $129 for 12 pans. Well, Chanel still ups them by a mile, because I think these little quads nowadays retail for like somewhere between the 60 and 65 euro range. So that's like $65 at least. These retail for as much as a Huda Beauty palette. And they're quads. So buying 3 of these gives you 12 eyeshadows, which would actually be then 180 euros. So I think that when it comes to how much product you get in these versus those other brands, these are far more expensive. But I do really enjoy the formula of these. I do have to say that I only have limited edition colors, because I feel that the regular collections are a bit blah, you know, it's a bit bland. But they definitely do some more interesting things in their limited edition collections. Again, if you like to splurge, then getting yourself at least one of these can be a very nice present to yourself. Let me see. The first one I have here is Tissé Fantasy. And I think, was this the one? Yeah, this was the one that was in their spring collection a couple of years ago. And it has a very nice coral, very nice like greenish shade. This like warm brown is very nice, and then it has like a white shimmer. These are all shimmer though, so that's something that you do have to like. But this doesn't come with a whole lot of product. Let me see. This is only 2 grams of product, so not a lot of product, and you do pay quite a bit of money for these. This was one. This is the last one that I got. This is Road Movie. I'm not sure why this is suddenly in English, but apparently they want it to be hip or something. Ooh. And this is a really, really nice palette, because it has 2 teals and then 2 neutral browns. So this is a very versatile shade. And this palette had me fall back in love with teals. I love teals on my eyes. I have pretty like brownish, greenish eyes a little bit. I can make them look more green if I want to, but wearing colors like this makes them look more brown. And that's why I really like this palette. This made me fall in love with some of the older shadows that I had in my collection, and made me rediscover all of the lovely teals. And that's a very nice one. It's also all matte, by the way. This is an all shimmer one. This is Tissé Dimension, and I believe this was limited edition for summer 2 years ago. And I mainly bought it because it has a really nice, almost like green toned silver right here in the top corner. It's got a nice purple, a nice like pinky shade, but that shimmer is absolutely stunning. And then last but not least, this was limited edition for fall, I think 2 years ago as well. And this is in the shade Candeur et Expérience, and it's got that like warm reddish tone right there. And again, it's all matte browns and a matte like red shade. So yeah, with that being said, we've come to the end of the video. These are all of the makeup products from the luxury price brands that I really think are worth your money. So maybe you already have a couple of these. Maybe I've just given you some recommendations and now your bank account says, ouch. I would definitely recommend sort of picking and choosing and going into a store and swatching these. I would also recommend, none of this was bought online. I went into a store to actually see if I liked it. So that being said, I think that that's the best piece of advice I can give you. Make sure you get it with a gift voucher. Make sure you get it with a discount. I think everything that's here I bought either with a gift card or with a voucher or something. You know, try to get a discount on this stuff because else it's just a little bit too steep. Yeah, these are the luxury makeup products that I really enjoy and that I think are worth it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to my channel. I have lots more content coming your way. I've already been planning a couple of things for the new year. So stay tuned. I make new videos on Thursday and Friday. For now, I think I may want to add another day, but I'm not sure yet. I really hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!